Welcome to Behind the Scenes at Slow Wine Fair 2023 in Bologna. Stevie and the podcast crew interview a variety of Italian exhibitors who attended the fair and took the opportunity to chat with many of the benchmark producers selected for our new book, Italian Wine Unplugged 2.0. Check out the big buffet of guests and get ready to be hungry and thirsty as exhibitors and producers talk about their signature products and give us top tips for food, wine, and fun in their regions. Hi, I'm here at Slow Wine in Bologna today with NINNI COLLALTO, who is the co-founder of Borgo Luce in Veneto, where they make not only Prosecco wine from our Glera grape, but also so many other products that are so interesting in the concept of slow wine, the idea of buono, pulito, giusto, good and clean and correct. I wanted to talk to NINNI about everything else that she's doing at Borgo Luce. So thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for your invitation.
You are very near to Valdobbiadene, Conigliano, in that zone.
Yes, exactly. We are in the area of the DOCG, Prosecco Superiore. So we are in the heart of the appellation in this wonderful land that now is also UNESCO site.
UNESCO protected site.
Yes, we are very happy about this. And there we have this beautiful estate, quite large, I must say. It's like 1,000 hectares, and it is part on the hills and part on the plain. And so we really have the possibility of maintaining the biodiversity, exactly using the multifunctions of the activity.
This is the concept I find so interesting, because at Borgo Luce you have animals, you have pigs, you have cows, you have buffaloes, which I did not know could exist in Veneto, so I was excited about that. But also honey and other products, as well as the wine, olive oil.
And also the products, we produce a pasta from the ancient corns. The estate is very ancient because this little garden of Venice belongs to our family from many years. But with my sister Caterina, we decided to make a new process, a new brand that had to speak of our new way of thinking of agriculture.
Of course.
That actually is the
It's
traditional
the most ancient
one.
way.
And we choose this logo.
It's a circular logo.
Exactly, with the kind of these little planets, but that has to give immediately the feeling that in agriculture everything goes from the soil, goes in a process,
Exactly.
comes out as a product, but what remains of the product is against a source for the...
Exactly. Nothing wasted.
Nothing.
Everything working together, from the waste to the products to the animals to the grain that you grow, also the grapes that you grow. So a really holistic system. And I think in these days it's so important for consumers to know where their food came from, to understand there's no chemicals being used. These are really important things today. So you have a bit of everything. It's like a garden of Eden. So you make salumi. You're growing grain for the pasta,
For the wine.
the grapes for the wine, and the animals for the cheese
and what
the
we
meat.
have is also we have nuts.
Also nuts.
I think that the most important thing is to come. And we are really happy when we have visitors. We have thought of this winery to have people to visit us, to do tastings, have a complete experience of this territory.
I think this generous spirit is something that we find in Italian wine, in Italian agriculture, that's unique and special. We don't find it everywhere else. So I'm so glad you could be with us today.
Thank
you so
Thank
much.
you very much.
Hello, my name's Stevie Kim. We are back. We're still in Slow Wine in Bologna, day one. And I ran into a friend of mine. I usually used to see him at airport lounges, but today we're here in Bologna. Of course, he looks like Ernest Hemingway. That's his doppelganger.
That Italian look.
Yeah. but he's not Ernest Hemingway. This is Francesco Marone Cinzano. Is that correct? Did I say it in the
Thank
right
you.
order?
Wonderful,
Three names.
wonderful.
Three names.
Yes, yes,
Of
perfect.
course, he is the principal of COLLALTO. So we're talking about Brunello as the big wine. But just two questions. The first one is, how has the pandemic been for your company in general? How did you live? How was the business?
The business never stopped. We were really lucky. We never had to close the cellar, the winery. We did the harvest, vinification.
So paradoxically, I guess because of especially those who are collecting wines, the consumption of prestigious wines, especially the premium wines, have increased dramatically during the pandemic. It seems like a paradox, but that's actually what happened. Is that correct?
Very much so, very much so. Especially Brunello, we saw Brunello depleting all the stocks in the various countries. Big surprise, big surprise.
So of course, COLLALTO is a historic winery. Can you give us a little bit of, in terms of the size, contextualize the size, the number of labels that you make?
Yes, well, the total estate is 540 hectares. I've been planting a little bit more what I've been allowed. I've been replanting the old vineyards. We have our biodiversity basin. We grow tobacco, grain, some fruit. We have our animals.
So there seems to be this whole ecosystem, right?
It's a habitat. It's a habitat for people and for wildlife and for the animals we breed.
Okay. So, there's this big word right now. It's kind of the thing to say. Sustainability. Sustainability.
Yes.
Okay. So for you as a principal of this, habitat and as a winemaker, what does it mean to be sustainable?
It's a huge area. It goes from the environmental sustainability, which best expression is the organic certification, and but that's only one part. In Italy, for instance, when we talk about sustainable, the first thing we think about is environmental. But if you take Northern Europeans, for instance, Scandinavians, they are now very much careful as to social sustainability. 1/4 of the carbon footprint of a bottle of wine is represented by the glass itself, by the bottle, by the glass bottle. And
Have you done
huge.
anything lately to change the weight of your bottles, for example?
Well, we have even reduced the weight of the bottle. So I've lowered the content of glass down to 360 grams from 420.
So I know you're a very busy man, so we're going to sign off for now. So go check out COLLALTO with Mr. Marone Cinzano, and check out his
Brunello
wine.
2018 and Brunello 2015.
Yeah, so two vintages, 18 and 15, Brunello di Montalcino. So check it out from the historic estate COLLALTO. That's it. Ciao ragazzi.
Okay, so we are here with another episode of the Slow Wine interviews here with Claudia RIZZI. And Claudia is from the Terramante
Winery, yes.
Terramante Winery in Umbria. I wanted you to tell me who you are and what your signature wine is.
Terramante is a very small winery. We have right now producing only about 3 hectares of vineyards. We are located in the Tiber River Park. Me and my husband are the owner and winemaker and bureaucrats.
How many bottles do you produce a year?
We produce about 7,000 bottles a year, hoping to double the quantity. We are mostly known for our Sangiovese.
Now, so I want you to tell me a little bit about your story. Tell me about how you started to make wine.
We started to make wine. We don't come from a family like 5th generation. Both my husband and I were artists. My husband is from San Francisco. We have to move closer to Rome. In Todi, near Todi, there was a very small abandoned vineyard. And yeah, it took a while.
So when did you guys decide to make your own wine and make it good?
When we moved there,
Okay.
when we finally moved there, we had this vineyard and we thought we can at least try. Don't forget that my husband is from the Bay Area, so we know a lot of winemakers in the Napa Valley. So we started, calling them out. What do we do? What do we do now? And this wine came out. It was 2007. It was so good, and especially we had so much fun making it. It's a very typical Sangiovese, lots of red berries, and I must say that yes, we have been a little bit crazy because it takes 5 times the amount of work, to get great grapes, especially organically.
And you're doing it organically.
Oh yes, absolutely. And so it means crazy canopy management because you cannot have like more than a certain number of leaves, but no less than a certain number of leaves. I mean, we're there working a lot. But especially now that the summers are getting so hot, being there surrounded by the rivers means that each night, every single night in the summer, temperatures go down. We have a difference of sometimes over 20 Celsius degrees. And the grapes do not cook on the vine basically for days on hand. And we saw that it made like a huge difference. We have another piece of Sangiovese in another spot, and it's very hard to make wines that, you really have to work hard not to get very high alcohol. Sangiovese, delicate and elegant.
I have to wrap it up, but I appreciate you telling me that story. Thank you so much for coming.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome.
So we have Claudia Rizzi from Terramante in Umbria talking
Come
to
and
us.
visit.
Come visit, yeah.
Yeah.
Hello, my name's Stevie Kim. We are back in Slow Wine. We're still in Bologna, day 1, day numero uno. And I ran into these 2 ladies. To my right, Valentina di Camillo. And then, of course, I ran into Francesca Poggio. But I forgot that she's also the vice president of Donna del Vino. So your winery is called?
Il Poggio di Gavi.
Il Poggio di Gavi. So tell us your winery.
I am the winemaker, but in the same time, I am more commercial than more marketing manager.
How many labels do you have?
7 labels.
7 labels.
Only white wines and different sparkling and still.
Okay. It's curious though. Why did you decide to do with just one grape variety?
The area of the Gavi wines is special for Cortese grapes. So I decided to grow only Cortese grape and in different declinations. My wine it's very small, it's about 40,000 bottles in a year. Sparkling and still.
Okay, and what about your winery? It's called I Fauri.
Teno dei Fauri. We are in the central part of Italy, in Abruzzo region. So it's a family business, and we are in the province of Chieti, and we have like 32 hectares vineyards in between the Maiella Mountains and the Adriatic Sea. And we are more than focused on native grapes.
And what kind of wine are you producing?
Different, like Trebbiano, Passerina, Trebbiano d'Abruzzo, Passerina, Pecorino.
Are you producing red wines?
Montepulciano.
Montepulciano.
Cerasuolo.
And Cerasuolo.
And how many, in terms of volume, how many bottles?
100,000 bottles a year. It's just a part of the whole production. And that's it.
And what is your signature wine?
The most is the Cerasuolo d'Abruzzo. It's a more light red wine, and it's a good sum of the mountains we have, because Montepulciano is a kind of a big guy, but at the same time the sea, because it's a very refreshing wine, so it's a good mix.
Now what I would like to talk to you women are about the roles of women. What is happening with Donna del Vino? So tell me, what is the development?
Now we have a new president from Irpinia.
How many members now?
Now we are more than 1,000, and we are working a lot. We have a lot of new projects about the Divino in the school, for the education to the young people. This is for me one of the most important. We are working a lot about enoturismo, because this kind of tourism now in Italy is very important.
So listen, I have a question for you. How are we going to engage the next generation to start drinking wine?
I don't have the solution, but I try to let them understand that we are easy persons, so we are more than just a glass of wine. We enjoy the life. So I try to attract them, invite them to my parties, trying to involve them into my world.
Okay, already. That's it. Signing off from Slow Wine, we have Valentina and we have Francesca. From Abruzzo to Piemonte. Ciao ragazzi!
Ciao! I'm here with Marco Volpi from the Cantine Volpi. We start with telling me a little bit about you. Who are you? What do you do for the winery?
So my name is Marco. I'm part of the Volpi family. We have a winery in Tortona since 1914, so more than 100 years now that we make wine in Tortona.
So tell me a little bit about the signature grape that you have in your winery.
So basically we are a winery based in south of Piemonte, southeast of Piemonte, in Colli Tortonesi area. Colli Tortonesi literally means Tortona Hills, so the hills around Tortona. And there, of course, we have an indigenous grape variety called Timorasso. Timorasso, yes, is a white grape variety that was almost abandoned in the last century. So during the end of the last century, it was almost lost. Okay. We had less than 20 hectares remained. Now there are 350. So it's actually growing a lot in the last few years. But now that the consumers, they want to get, this typicity and autochthonous variety, Timorasso is growing again. Barbera is most typical, most well known, and I say it's the reason why we exist, because the first vineyard we ever had in 1913, it was a Barbera vineyard. So that's the reason why we exist. But now Timorasso is the reason why we are getting the knowledge of the area, of Tortona area, is actually growing in the last few years.
What is your signature wine, the wine that you sell the most, or the wine that you export maybe? Or
yeah. So right now, at this very moment, the wine we export the most is still a Barbera, Barbera Superiore, coming from La Zerba estate. La Zerba is the name of a estate, family-owned estate we have in Volpedo. Volpedo is a small town next to Tortona. And this is the wine we export the most, basically most in US.
We were talking earlier about the Buono Giusto Pulito theme of slow wine. Yeah. And so you then mentioned sustainability, and of course over 100 years things must have changed. And how have you incorporated sustainability into your winery?
Yeah. So it's a very good question. Sustainability has always been a pillar for Cantine Volpi, I have to say. We always have tried to give something back to the community and to the territory where we actually live in. In the last year, in 2022, we got our first sustainability certification. So we try to be sustainable. We do that in a vineyard. We started to shift all our vineyards into organic production many years ago, and we are doing that still now. We're trying to convince also local growers to go into the organic farming, and that is one example. We try to work a lot with the community, so we try to help the community. We do an initiative we call Cantine Volpi per l'Ambiente, Cantine Volpi for the Environment, where we dedicate our working hours. So one working day of the week, we stop to work at the winery, we go in a green part of the area, of the Tortona area, and we clean it with all our colleagues and people.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, that's
different. I've never heard that before.
Yeah?
My last question would be, what is the one thing do you like doing the most? Because I'm assuming that since you run this place, you do many different things. What's your favorite thing to do at your winery?
I love being in the vineyards. Maybe I say that because I can choose when to do that, because it's a hard part of the job. And but I love doing that. I love going actually around the world and being able to represent the product of my very own land around the world and to talk about them. It's something that give me a lot of sense of yeah. So that is maybe also one thing that I really like about the job.
Awesome. So thank you so much to Marco Volpi of Cantina Volpi.
Ciao ciao.